Gets open for three. Dagger!
The kick, and here it comes. Swing and a miss! And a World Series Game 7 winning Curly W is in the books.
Washington Capitals are the 2018 Stanley Cup champions. You like that? You like that? I like that.
You gotta like that, right?
My approval ratings keep going up.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Complicated business.
Welcome in. This is DTC three-man show, baseball special. Baseball Joe is here. Baseball Matt is here. Matt the Met, and of course, Stevie.
Hey.
Stevie.
Good to
How
be
long?
back.
It feels like years ago that we listened to that call with the Nationals bringing home the hardware. It just seems like it's forever ago. I know it's literally been years ago, but my goodness, does it feel like two lifetimes ago? There's a lot of topics that we want to cover. For those that are watching us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, this is Defeating the Curse. Thank you so much for checking us out. Matt's been he's a longtime friend of the show. He's been on and off the show. We've all been on and off the show, if we're being honest with ourselves, for many, many years. But baseball, playoffs, two words when you smash them together, special feeling, special type of atmosphere. It's very unique. The wild card experience in particular, where it's, winner take all for that one moment. It's immediately following the end of the regular season. There's just so many things that come together to make baseball playoff atmosphere so different than all the other sports. It's something that even as a casual baseball fan, I really get into it. Like right now, the Yankees and the Red Sox are playing. We got the stats up on the screen, so we're individually watching it. Obviously, we can't broadcast that, so we're just going to keep an eye on the box score, and obviously if something crazy happens, we'll break away and talk about it. But the playoffs are a special time, Stevie, and obviously I got into it, and I felt it the most when the team here in DC was competitive and obviously challenging for playoffs, wild card, and it was many, many years of just seeming, we ran into the same brick walls over and over. It was the Cubs, it was the Cardinals, it was the Dodgers several times. Now the Dodgers have a lot of ex-Nats, and I know for me, I'm watching guys that I cheered for in a Nats uniform, and I can't help but continue to cheer for them, especially Trey and Max. Just a weird feeling overall, but here we are. The national season is over. I think we do need to spend a little bit of time on that. You and I talked about it weeks ago. This team is going to look pretty different next season here in DC. I know I'm assuming you're still on Rizzo all the way, right? There's no way you've softened your position, correct?
For life, LYFE. Rizzo for life.
Well, look, you were in the park. You were downtown this past weekend. It was a packed house. I mean, I love that about baseball fans. Like DC, we can't get to a FedEx Field for a meaningful regular season game, even if it's early. This is a meaningless baseball game at the end of the season. And sure, there was a couple things that happened. I'm sure you're going to talk about a couple personnel things in particular. People wanted to see a certain guy. Potentially for the last time, but I didn't expect a full house. I didn't expect 30,000 people down there.
80% of them were massholes, Massachusetts assholes. Okay,
they show out, man.
Exactly. Okay, so they got pretty loud in the bottom of the top of the ninth when Devers hit a home run. So yes, but before we jump into the show, October 1st was 4 days ago. It was the wild card versary of 2 years ago, the greatest moment in Nats history. Juan Soto hitting a bases clearing, bases loaded triple, scoring 3 runs. The greatest moment. I have been in that stadium for Drew Storen's implosion in 2012. I've been there for Scherzer's 7th inning against the Cubs. I've been there for the Dodgers debacle. All of that was erased 2 years ago on October 1st. Juan Soto had the greatest moment in Nats history.
Nats Park history or Nats history? Because yes. I'm remembering a grand slam in Game 7. Was it
Howie in Game 5, you mean? Against the Dodgers.
I mean, Kendrick's home run is larger than the
No, but see, Matt, see, I mean, he's not used to winning. He's a Mets guy. Okay, I get it. So I got to explain this to him. But this exercised the demons. And I mean, we could spend a whole show on recapping that 2019 run, but that moment in that park where everyone thought they were going to lose, that exercised the demons against Josh Hader, bases loaded. Rendon gets the walk. Zimmerman gets a bloop. I think Michael Taylor got a single, and he was on third. And then Soto came up lefty. Josh Hader.
Did you just rewatch this game or something? I mean, how do you remember all of this?
It is seared in my memory.
That was one pandemic ago. How do you remember all of this? It is
seared in my memory, and I can taste the beer that was being
when you only have one memory, it's hard to forget it, right? I mean,
hey, we cherish our one memory, okay? Matt the Met, just relax.
Where's Jacob deGrom at this moment?
Jacob deGrom is fishing somewhere in Florida and wishing that the Mets would actually pay somebody who can hit the ball. And actually, because the guy pitches to 1.0 and can't win a game. So, I don't blame him for not coming back, honestly.
How long is his holdout going to last next offseason?
No, he's a pro. He'll show up. He'll be there. And but he's going to ask for more money. You better believe it. And Steve Cohen's going to pay up, man. So
well, he's worth it, and he should get paid. But guys, we got to talk about this season that was here in DC. I mean, Stevie, last time we talked about the Nationals in a meaningful way, you were really excited about some of the crop of young players that came as part of the Rizzo deals. Are you still feeling that way? Obviously, we got to watch them for about a month post all the trades. Are you truly still feeling encouraged that this team will get back sooner rather than later? Because I mean, at times they looked okay. I mean, Davey, it felt like the Nats were in a bunch of games down the stretch and then ended up just losing, especially late. Pitching continues to be a problem. Bullpen problems. Like these are old talking points. But the team looked competitive at times. I mean, they weren't playing the best teams, but they looked okay. Maybe they're on schedule. I won't say ahead of schedule. I mean, are you still feeling confident going into next season?
Absolutely. I mean, I have two thoughts about that. Number one, hindsight is always 20/20, but what we saw with the NL East and how competitive it was, maybe we sold a little too soon. Okay. Maybe we sold out on the season. I mean, we were 6-7 games back. The Braves and Phillies never ran away with this division. And it came down to the last week that the Phillies were in it. I mean, what was the winning record of the Braves? Braves probably got to 85 wins. I mean, nothing crazy. So I don't know that, that was a tough decision for Rizzo to sell at that point. We were back and forth. We were making runs, and then we were slumping. I think the Schwarber injury really dealt a blow. I think Soto was on the IL for a little bit. So that's number one is in hindsight, the NL East proved to be one of the worst divisions, actually, in hindsight. The worst. So no one would have predicted that at the beginning of the season. And obviously a Braves team winning it without Acuna is a testament to that team, but also a testament to how bad the other teams were. So that's number one. Number two, I think Rizzo totally did a great job with these trades in getting stuff back. I think every piece that he called up contributed to the team in a substantive way. I mean, Josiah Gray started off incredible, and we saw the magic. He had a slump. The kid's a young kid. What he proved this season is he's got nasty stuff. And if he can develop that stuff, he will be a top tier pitcher. And so he'll be a frontline guy. And so, and then Keybear came on late. Everyone had talked about his hitting. He was crushing it in Double-A. He was killing it. He came in and took him a little bit of time to adjust. But towards the end of the season, he was hitting. He had back-to-back home runs a couple nights. He was batting, over 300 last 10 games of the season. So, and he was able to call games well, and he was able to, protect. He threw a couple guys out, trying to steal. So he played the part. And then when you look at the other pieces, I mean, the surprise player of all of this is Lane Thomas. So much so that Victor Robles was sent down to the minor leagues, and they didn't miss a beat. They improved. His hitting improved. That center field hitting improved. So Lane Thomas seems to be a real gem to come out of this, that is potentially a starting center fielder that can finally end this disastrous Victor Robles experiment that just never, panned out. And so when you look at that, you talk about a starting center fielder, a top-notch pitcher, and a catcher right there without any of the other pieces that are still being developed. You've really, put in some solid pieces for this team. So, yeah, absolutely. I think Rizzo is sitting in his office at Nats Park after he gets his Phil's coffee, and he's sitting there and he's saying, this is going to be a quicker rebuild than people think.
I don't even think it's a rebuild. I think the Nats are right there. You got two
Met coming in strong.
Juan Soto. I mean,
Pacheco.
The guy, I'm not one for hyperbole, but he might be the best batter since Barry Bonds.
Wait a second, Matt. Then you're giving him the MVP. I don't want to hear this about Tatis.
No. I'm not saying he's the look. I think for reasons.
Don't moonwalk back this, okay? Don't MJ this.
No. I think the guy. First of all, a guy who gets on base 46% of the time. I mean, that's somebody you can build around. All right. So Juan Soto. I mean, the guy is just scary, and he showed it. You were talking about his at bat, in 2019. It showed it that they made the right decision building around him. You still got Steven Strasburg. You still got Patrick Corbin. Hopefully, you'll have some part of Steven Strasburg for some part of the year, right? You still got Patrick Corbin. You still got Will Harris. You've got all the young guys that you named, and you have money, and you have an owner who knows how to win, and you have a GM who knows how to build a great roster. And I don't think, losing Trey Turner hurts, and I think, but you had to give up something. Trey Turner was the throwaway.
It kills. It kills to see him do what he's doing. We've been watching him do it forever. And now the rest of the country's watching him do it.
By the way, that slide in home plate, I can watch that slide over.
Nobody's cooler doing
cucumber.
So, but you had to give up something. And Trey Turner was going to cost you so much more to keep, right? So the thing is, there's great shortstops out there that you could put a lot of money into. Trevor Story is probably on the Nats' radar, right? Somebody like that.
Hey, they drafted Brady House with the 11th pick. I mean, he's the shortstop of the future.
So, I mean, Mike Rizzo knows what he's doing, man. Believe me, just 200 miles north, Steve Cohen's dying for somebody who knows how to put a team together the way that Mike Rizzo does. So I'm not worried about the Nats. I actually think the Nats, if you ask me right now, after the Braves, the Nats are the second favorite in the NL East today. Like today, with where they are and how they build their teams, I actually think the Nats, and I can't believe I'm saying this because I think the Mets have a bunch of problems. And I think the Phillies I'm not afraid of the Phillies. I don't know why anybody would be. Dave Dombrowski's a smart baseball guy, but I don't like the way that they put that team together. So if the status quo remains, and this is today. Now, if the Mets go get Theo Epstein and they go, spend money in the right way, then we're having a different conversation. But I like what the Nats are doing, and I because I trust Mike Rizzo that much. Guys,
and I think that's an interesting take. I mean, we're one day into the postseason, right? We're one day closer to the next season, and both of you seem to be pretty high on the Nats, given the way the pieces that were acquired have played. But I'll tell you, as a casual baseball fan, and I'm being very loose with that term, all I can think about are all the pieces that are currently in Dodger Blue that are competing, in the playoffs and challenging for, a World Series. I mean, that team is good enough, right? I mean, every team has a shot, right? And we saw this firsthand with the Nationals barely, eking into the postseason, and then, the rest is history. And we got to see that and live that firsthand. It's hard for me to, I'm going to cheer for Turner, and I'm going to cheer for Max. Max did too much for this city consistently. All those games that Strauss missed, all the charitable stuff. The guy was just a machine. He was infinitely, we approached him regularly when we were down, when we were covering the team much more closely a couple seasons ago. He was always available. He's just an awesome guy. Joe, and I want to see him succeed, but it's hard. I mean, they gave up really good pieces to get what they got. And I understand it's a business and there is that component to it. But it's still hard. Again, as a casual fan, all these names that you guys just rattled off. And Lane Thomas is one that I've gotten to know because Steve doesn't stop, babbling about him constantly.
You can learn something then.
I'm learning a lot. Okay. I'm learning a lot. And our text message threads and WhatsApps, that name has come up a lot over the past, 60 days or so. But it's going to take time for the rest of DC to find out who these people are as well, right? And to get behind the new face of the Nats, so to speak. And Juan Soto, and Matt, you hit the nail on the head. They have to find a way to keep him, and they have to find a way to do it now. Like, you cannot risk him sniffing around another team. You can't.
I mean, he's far from free agency, but they're going to lock him up. They have to.
They have to. The cost only continues to go up. The cost only continues to go up. So if you're Soto, you're not necessarily going to run and sign anything. If you're the Nationals, you can't afford to wait because he's going to cost you $500 million as it is right now. right?
Yeah.
$500 million. And the Lerners, I don't know if they're going to part ways with that much money without some convincing, but they cannot lose Juan Soto. They can't.
Look, look. One thing I've learned about the Lerners, I've been envious of the Lerners for a long time as an ownership group. They want to win, and they'll put the money in the right place. I mean, they were ready to pay Bryce Harper somewhere in the vicinity of $300 million,
which is what he's worth,
right? And they're not. I mean, there's no way they're going to balk at Soto's price. Like, they are going to sit down. That's going to get done. And also, don't close the book on Max Scherzer not coming back next year for his swan song. I'm telling you. In my mind, there was a gentleman's agreement between him and Rizzo. Send me somewhere, let me go win, and I'll come back and close my career out here, right? And I'm talking, he'll likely get a 2-3 year deal. Scherzer can still deal, man. So he'll come. I could see him being back here in DC, in the capital, being a 2 or 3 starter, right, for this team, and again, just being an integral piece to a great young
I mean,
team.
I think everybody would welcome him back for sure. I don't know why he would do that. Like, his legacy is sealed, right? Like, if he wants to come back and retire as a Nat, fine. But I don't know if he needs to play any meaningful baseball here to be like, his stature won't change in my opinion, right? And if he can make more somewhere else at this point in his career, I mean, he might just stay with the Dodgers. I mean, we'll see how this postseason goes, but if he can find his stuff and consistently, be called upon and relied upon, I mean, who wouldn't want to stay in LA? It's LA.
Speaking of retiring here, Ryan Zimmerman, man, I tip my cap to Ryan Zimmerman. I don't know if he's
Stevie. How much crying did you do on Saturday? How much crying did you do over the weekend?
I mean, Zim is Mr. National. I mean, hard to imagine that stadium without him.
That first game, that home run, I had chills. Like, the first game that opened up Nats Park, like, I was like, this dude. He knows, he fits. He fits the moment.
But I'm not sure he's done, Matt.
I don't think so either.
I think it was premature farewell. I mean, he's certainly not done with the organization. I mean, he'll always be a front office fixture, but it's tough. If this was the AL, he'd play for another 5 years. And I'm sorry, I just think Giancarlo. Oh my God, I don't know if we're watching this, but Giancarlo just ripped one off the monster. And then Judge just got, are you guys watching it? I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. It's a reaction show. We're live here. Look, we can come back to Zim. We can come back to Zim. I mean, look, let's talk about this matchup that we're watching in real time.
I mean, while we were talking, Rizzo hit one a mile.
Yeah.
I mean, these teams, if I'm not mistaken, boys, these teams haven't met in the postseason since 2004. Is that correct? It's been a long time since these two have faced off in the postseason.
Right.
I'm gonna fact check myself here, but let's talk about this matchup. I mean, we're right now, for anybody that's watching us as we're watching the game, we're in the top of the 6th. I mean, Stevie, do you have a prediction here? Should we put a little 7th inning sweat in right now? Quickly?
I'm watching Judge get thrown out at home. Giancarlo hit one off the top of the monster after Rizzo hit a bomb. They took out Eovaldi, and now they're looking at the slide because Judge looked like he eluded the tag, but he didn't. Wow, what a game! I mean, these wild card matchups. I'm sorry to kind of go all over the place here, but man, I rushed home tonight because these two I think this is the undercard of wild card weekend or week, and boy, what a game! I mean, these two matchups are incredible. You have a 106 win team. You have the best team in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Somehow in the wild card matchup.
I mean, that's the craziest thing about it, right? Like, and everybody talks about how long the baseball season is and how the games don't matter. But when you've won 106, first of all, in the National League since '86. No team has won that many games, right? Since the Mets, thank you very much, in '86. In the National League, no one has won as many games as the Giants and Dodgers have this season, right? And so the idea is if you told the Dodgers you were going to win 106 games, 106 games this year, they would have signed up for that, and they would have thought they would have run away with the West. Where did the Giants come from, man? I've never been so less interested in a 107-win team in my life. But you know what? The Giants come, man, and they win all the time. They really show up, and What team led the league in homers in the National League? The Giants. Nobody would have guessed that, right? Like they don't strike you as a team. But this is the year where if the Dodgers are going to lose, the Cardinals are ripe for the Cardinals are ripe to knock them out. I mean, the Cardinals. What was it? A 17-game win streak?
Oh,
right?
Matt, give me a prediction. Say something.
No,
who am I putting the sweat on?
Matt's bringing some real knowledge. There was a comment by this schmuck Faddy over here saying, "You guys don't know what you're talking about." I mean, he's using an apostrophe for homers. What does he know?
Dude, the only homer he knows is definitely Homer Simpson, without question. The guy's never seen a baseball homer in his life.
Guy prospects are underwhelming. Well, what else does he want from Lane Thomas? Okay, tell him to play a day in center field. Okay, Matt's right. The Giants are sleepy. People are sleeping on the Giants. Okay, they had a hell of a season. They went through that NL West gauntlet with the Padres and the Dodgers, and they came out on top. They deserve to be the number 1 seed.
And honestly, I kept waiting for them to fail. I kept waiting for them to fall, and I kept waiting for the Padres to wake up at the end. They nosedived. The Mets nosedived. The Giants stayed consistent, and to beat out the Dodgers for the division is huge, because I'm telling you, Red Sox Yankees is obviously huge on the East Coast, but Giants Dodgers has its own history too. And I'm thinking if we get to imagine that could be the wild card matchup, the first round matchup, Giants Dodgers. I mean, we're in for some really, really great baseball potentially. And the Cardinals are Nolan Arenado, the Cardinals got him for nothing. They robbed the Rockies. The Rockies got robbed. Nolan Arenado is he's the kind of guy you build around. They've got Paul Goldschmidt at first. The Cardinals are really smart. To talk about a team that knows how to constantly build a winner, the Cardinals are it. If I were the Dodgers, I'd be afraid. I think Stevie said this, like he doesn't necessarily trust Max Scherzer to start tomorrow. I kind of don't disagree with that. I think the Cardinals are the kind of team, they'll string some good at-bats together. You can get into the 7th, the Cardinals up 3-1, and I don't know. I mean, the Dodgers will start sweating. It would suck to win 106 games and be out on a 1-game.
That's the beauty of playoff baseball. It's very different, right? Yeah. When you look at like the NBA playoffs, it doesn't compare, right? You're talking about getting an opportunity. You're best of 5 back in the day. In our day, it was best of 5. Now it's best of 7 all the way around. There's no play-in game, right? Like you have an opportunity. Your players play both ways. Your starter in game 1 is going to be the same starter that you have in game 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc. In football, yes, it's one and done. Again, the players don't go 2 ways, but that aside, you've got time. Like again, you're starting 11, and sorry to use a soccer term, but you're starting offensive players for any NFL team in the playoffs is going to be the same regardless. So your starting defensive players are going to be the same. When same story for hockey, right? Your studs don't change. With baseball, the playoffs actually begin before the playoffs begin. When you're thinking about your pitching matchup, right? Your pitchers, you're already proactively thinking about who is going to need to be on the mound in the playoff matchup, and you're making adjustments in the regular season. We saw that with both of these teams that are playing right now. So you're going to roll out your best arm. And again, with the Nationals, we saw this for it seemed like for a decade straight. You pitch your best guy. Unfortunately, the best guy sometimes can't get you there. And even if you survive the one, the 1-game playoff or play-in, if you will, you still got to do it again in 2 days. Like there is something really special about playoff baseball. The fact that, NBA postseason, several days in between games, and whether for travel or for whatever, that doesn't happen in baseball. You're playing back to back. Yeah, right. And it's a very different intensity. And again, as a casual baseball fan, I can get into it. Like this is. I mean, I'm sitting here. We're all watching the game. I know. Again, we're not showing it, but it's intense. It's intense. This is arguably the rivalry, right? Outside of Madrid and Barcelona. Like if you're just gonna start. Yeah, well, get out of here. Get out of here. Classico is forever Classico. Okay? But I know. Sometimes you have to watch sports to be able to talk about sports.
There's
sometimes.
a world beyond the U.S., Steve.
I think Yankees. You're mispronouncing Duke UNC. I think is what you're mispronouncing.
Oh, come on. They don't hold a candle. It's not even in the same stratosphere. That's like me versus you. No. That's
me
nothing.
Versus me and you is no debate. Okay, there's no.
You want to talk about the export days? You want to talk about the export days? We used to count the blocks. But look, regardless, these two franchises in particular have such a long history, long history, and obviously they face each other throughout the regular season as well. I'm curious what your take is here. Like who, we're about halfway through, a little bit more than halfway through. I mean, based on what you're seeing here, am I crazy to put in a little? I mean, the line has moved a lot, obviously, on the Yankees. They're at, right now, sitting here at the top of the sixth, they're up plus 210.
Well, there's a reason, because Garrett Cole just got rocked, and they pulled him after 2 2/3 of an inning. Yeah. They're on to Luis Severino now. I mean, they're emptying the pen, and it's all hands on deck, as we saw, obviously, in 2019 with our team when Scherzer came in, or Scherzer started, and Strasburg came in relief. I see a Cardinals fan, Karen from St. Louis, seems to think that Scherzer is going to be done tomorrow. A little bit of a homer. Maybe Feddy can apostrophe us that.
There's nothing
homer
wrong with being
there.
Homer. I'm a homer too. We're all homers.
You're a huge homer. Wait till we talk to about the football team.
Listen, until somebody pays me to not having a homer perspective, I'm gonna have a homer perspective. Okay.
Wait, we're doing this for free?
I mean, we're not doing it for free, but it doesn't pay the bills yet either. So I'm going to cheer for whoever I want to cheer for, and I'm going to do it in a microphone, okay? And if everyone's welcome to do the same, right? You can fire up a microphone, scream into the internet, whatever you want. I happen to cheer for the DC teams.
Matt's got a good pulse on the tri-state New York, New Jersey area. I think they will dissect that send call on Judge in the 6th inning where it looked like the cutoff guy already had the ball as he was rounding third, and they had a 1 out. And they could have had first and third in the corners for Joey Gallo. And instead they had 2 outs and they didn't get anything else to ending. I think they're going to dissect that one.
That's the kind of stuff that ends careers in New York.
I mean, I think we're sleeping on it. I mean, I can't hear the commentary, but I bet they're crushing the third base coach for that.
Look, Yankees Red Sox is never void of drama. And I love watching it. And I actually love that one of these teams is going to be out by tonight, right? But I also love the fact that the Yankees are throwing everything they have at this game. To your point, Joe, that changes if they do go face the Rays next. They've already used 2 of their starters. If not, I forget who pitched between Cole and Severino, but I mean, they're already tapping into their stuff. But it's all hands on deck. You got to win today, and you figure it out. You got to figure it out in game 1. And I'll be honest with you, neither of these teams is beating the Rays anyway. The Rays are so well put together. They are so balanced. They've got offense. They've got defense. They've got a pitching staff.
How are they so good? Every 3 or 4 years, that team is good. Every 3 or 4 years, they don't even sneak into the playoffs. They announce themselves to the world in the playoffs, and then they sell off everything, and then they do it again. It's clockwork. Literally, every half decade, the Rays are not only competitive, they're challenging.
We could put money together and build a team that with more money than the Rays spend, but they'll still beat us because they're smarter than everybody else at putting together a baseball team. They are geniuses. They've got some really great young guys like Franco, Rosarena from last year, and what he did in the playoffs. Like they're fun and they're exciting. And honestly, I root for the Rays anytime, especially against the Yankees and the Red Sox. Like I'm over the Yankees and the Red Sox. I love when the Yankees lose personally, and that's just part of the Mets fan in me. But I hate when the Red Sox win. So let's hope the Yankees win today. Red Sox are out, and then the Rays will knock out the Yankees. But the series nobody's talking about is the White Sox and Astros. I know I'm jumping here, but that's a great one. That is a great one. The Astros have, the garbage. We're not that far removed from the garbage can and the cheating scandal. But those guys know how to win, and they know how to, whether they're cheating or not. They've got some new devices. I don't know. I'm not speculating, but those guys know how to win. And the White Sox are fun, exciting. They've got a manager who shouldn't be successful in this day and age in baseball. In Tony La Russa, the guy is old by every standard, but the guy, to his credit, they didn't think he could coach a young team. They didn't think he could coach in this environment with baseball and the young millennial players. And the guy knows baseball talent. And he's done a great job. He deserves it. But that's going to be a fun series too on the AL side. So this is the best time of the sports.
He's getting excited.
Yeah, I was waiting for that. I was waiting for it. You sound like it's Christmas morning over here. You're so happy. You're smiling. I mean, you're so excited.
Yeah.
Man, I think there's a quadruple header in a couple days. I think it's Thursday or Friday.
I'm all in. I take those days off from work. I'm all in. And now that I work from home, I don't have to take them off.
Exactly.
Friday. First game's at 2 p.m. Eastern, Sox and Astros. And then we've got Braves Brewers at 4:30.
Oh.
We got the wild card play-in plus Rays at 7, and we got the plus Giants at 9:30.
Braves Brewers is your worst series, and that's saying something because those are two really good. The Brewers have probably the best 1, 2, 3 pitchings, like starting rotation.
I'm surprised none of you guys are no thoughts on the Braves. We don't think the Braves are for real?
My odd thought is that I'm actually happy for them. I was happy that the Braves won the division. I hate the Braves, but somehow you can't really hate them. Freddie Freeman's a great guy. Max Fried's a great pitcher. I'm glad it wasn't
the Phillies. That's how.
Yeah, exactly. It's lovely to see the Phillies go down in flames, and doing it without Acuna, I think, is admirable. Certainly, he's literally the best player on their team. Between him and Freeman, so I'm rooting for them. I don't think they'll beat the Brewers, but they put up a good fight, and they outlasted the other crappy NL East teams.
Unfortunately, that's what it is. They were the prettiest pig coming out of the NL East. Yeah. That's really all they were. They've got great pieces. I think without Acuna, they're not going to go far. I don't think they have the pitching staff to compete with Milwaukee. But the Braves have surprised us before. Nobody thought they would be in the NLCS last year either. Giving the Dodgers a run for their money. So who knows? I don't like them. I like the Brewers. I like the Dodgers, obviously, unfortunately. But Matt,
who's your matchup, Matt? Give me your World Series matchup, just based on your gut feeling right now as we sit here, on opening night of playoffs. Like, who do you think is going to be there?
Yeah, I love what the Rays are doing, man. I think this is like the easy way to go, but I think we've got a rematch of last year's World Series. I think we've got Rays Dodgers again. The Dodgers are stacked for all their injuries. They're I mean, when you can replace Max Muncy with Albert Pujols, something, you're doing something right. And I don't see how they can lose, even no matter what the situation is. If Scherzer struggles, they throw in Urias, they throw in Buehler, I know Kershaw's out, but they're so stacked. And the Rays they've got a bunch of no-name guys who just play baseball the right way. I think it's a Rays Dodgers World Series. Again, I think it's the easy way out, and I'm not proud of myself for going that route, but that's where I think it lands.
Stevie, what do you think?
I would like to put out like a hot take just to like make news, the way these other guys do.
Let me mark it. 32 minutes and go. Stevie's going to say something, world.
But, I've already called all my predictions tend to come true. If you see Washington football team defense predictions, those have all come true. So I think the Dodgers, I certainly think the Dodgers will go to the World Series. Man, I really want to pick the White Sox. I really like them. I think they're fun. I think if they can get hot. Where's Giolito? Is he in the rotation?
Yeah.
I'll probably pitch game 2 or 3.
Probably pitching game 2 after.
Okay, so there's your little Nats kind of connection.
There's Nats everywhere in these playoffs.
Well, obviously the two guys, the main two guys are in LA, and I think Trey Turner is going to carry that team with Max Muncy out. I think he will be the difference offensively for that team.
Turner's going to carry that team for the next decade.
As he should, and he's as talented.
But doesn't that bother you? It bothers me.
Bother me. It is what it is, Joe. It's business.
It's baseball. Matt, you just open your wallet and spend more.
I just want Matt to confirm. Max Scherzer, you guys made the point earlier that you start prepping for the playoffs in advance with pitchers and schedules and things like that. And these teams are examples. As we saw, Chris Sale had to pitch on Sunday to ensure the Red Sox win against the Nats, so he's not available tonight. Same thing with the Dodgers. They were gunning for the division, so Walker Buehler pitched on Sunday just in case the Giants lost, and they were up to get into the division winner. So if everyone was healthy, Walker Buehler would be pitching tomorrow night. Right, Matt?
Yeah, Walker Buehler would be there.
Okay, he's the best pitcher on the Dodgers. I just want to clarify that. For anyone that thinks that Max Scherzer is pitching because he's the best pitcher.
No, I think they're setting up Walker Buehler for game 1, and Walker Buehler is an ace's ace, man. And so I think it's a nice luxury to that's exactly what we're talking about, that you could throw Max Scherzer on a one-off game, a guy with that kind of experience, and then have Walker Buehler lined up to pitch the first game of the next series. Like, I mean, I would hate to be the Giants in that case, but
historically, Max hasn't done well in that spot, right? Like historically, again, we watched him for many years with the Nats. Historically, that I'm not going to say that he folded under the pressure or that he wasn't up for it. He doesn't.
You're right.
Do well in that spot.
You're right, and it's actually not folding under the pressure. He's too amped up. He gets too amped up, and when the fastball starts getting high on him, the problem with Max, when Max is not doing well, is when his velocity starts ticking over 95, 96. It's actually the opposite problem that other pitchers have. The
control starts to
exactly.
go.
He's not hitting his spots. So when he's too amped up, and we know Max, that bulldog, that kind of pit bull, he starts growling on the mound. When he gets too amped up in these big game situations, he loses his spots. He loses his control. He loses control on the fastball. The slider doesn't slide as much as it should, and he gets into trouble. And so, I think Matt made the point, and I won't steal his thunder, but he's got the lineup behind him that he can get off to a bad start and he'll be okay. And that point is pretty evident. Yeah, I would trust Walker Buehler 100 times over I trust Max. I remember, Walker pitched Game 5 against the Nats in the divisional 2 years ago, and he was lights out. It's only when they put in Kershaw is when we got back into that game.
I mean, Walker Buehler is probably the Cy Young this year or in the conversation, right? So, I mean, I don't know.
You skirted the MVP question 10 minutes ago. Okay,
no,
make a pick.
It's funny. I don't like any of the NL options, to be honest with you.
You got to pick somebody.
I understand. Everybody's played. Everybody's got. I'll get to it. But I'm just saying, like, Tatis, I think Tatis had a great year, but you also think made a lot of mistakes in the field, lots of errors, didn't play too much, lots of injuries. But when the guy played, man, but I wonder, I mean, Manny Machado was as effective, like offensively, if not more. So hard to give it to Tatis. I'm not giving it to Bryce Harper.
No one's giving it to Bryce.
That's not happening.
I don't care if he had 75 home runs.
You know who I can make an argument for, and you guys, sorry to do this to you, Trey Turner. When he got to the Dodgers,
it's true.
Again, like for as much as Max came in and went 7-0, what Trey Turner did when he joined the Dodgers, man, he solidified that lineup in a way. They ran off right after that, after he came on. I actually think there's an argument to be made. What he did once he joined the Dodgers was pretty impressive, but they don't often
he brought stability to that lineup, right? From a hitting perspective.
They don't
just
often
calmed
give
everything down, and he
like
delivers. And he looks cool doing it. Those slides, I mean,
so smooth.
How many we got one really good one, everyone's like, whoa. Then we got a second where we're like, okay, maybe this is just a normal thing that he just does.
I want to do anything as well as he did that slide at home plate. Anything. Just give me anything that I could do as cool and as smoothly as that slide at home plate is.
I'm not sure if the Yankees are going to have any pitchers left after this game.
Yeah. It's not looking good.
Is their pitching coach is their pitching coach Mike Mussina? Did I just see Mike Mussina walk onto the field, or is that a lookalike?
Let's do a check.
Okay. Dude, where the hell is Mike Mussina?
Yeah, he's in the Hall of Fame is where he is.
He should be, okay.
Yeah. He's in the Hall of Fame. He
was an Orioles legend before he was a Yankees legend.
It's true. Good callback, man.
Love Mike Mussina. Okay, he's part of the Brady Anderson, Albert Bell years. And that Orioles team was fun.
That Orioles team was a good team, man. That was that 96 series that changed everything.
Oh, they were hopped up on roids, man. They were just
dude, what was that kid's name? The kid in the right field. I keep forgetting.
Jeffrey,
the one who rocked the baseball. Oh my god.
I think it was Jeffrey Myers.
That's it. I think that's it. Jeffrey Myers.
Jeffrey something, yeah.
That kid made a life out of stealing a baseball.
Well, he's no Bart. He's no Bartman, but
that's right. I mean, he's lucky that wasn't in Baltimore.
Actually, wait a second. Did Bartman kill himself? We can't joke around that.
No. Bartman
sure?
moved on with his life.
I think he's in witness protection.
I think he's definitely in witness protection.
No, the Cubs tried to bring him back for the World Series. Actually, they wanted to kind of
make amends
Make
for
amends
ruining
and
his
all that.
entire life.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I mean, exactly. His life is ruined. What's coming back to? No. You can't come back.
Yeah. He has no interest.
Joe, am I ever going to get a politics show going?
I'm ready. You want to talk about mandatory vaccines?
I don't.
In the NBA, keep it sports related.
Hey, look, Bradley Beal said I'm not going to do it, and Kyrie, Mr. Flat Earth himself, says he's not interested, and he's willing to miss all the home games to prove his point. I mean, look, Stevie, you know where I fall on this, right? The my body, my choice thing cuts both
Beal
ways.
And Kyrie Irving, way to go. Okay.
It's not about Kyrie Irving and it's not about Bradley Beal, but that argument should be able to work both ways, and I don't know why it doesn't.
You know what's interesting is to hear Andrew Wiggins say that I felt forced that to have a career in the NBA, I had to have the vaccine. It's worth thinking about, right? It's worth at least stopping and pausing and thinking about, like, are we really allowing people to make these decisions on their own, or are we in fact for? Like, there was one statement that I kind of heard, and I was like, okay, this deserves more conversation than it's getting.
But you're not allowed to have the conversations anymore.
As a Nets
Today
fan,
in
I wish
America,
Kyrie
we can't
Irving would
debate
stick
this.
a needle in his arm already, so we can move
Well,
on.
Joe, it sounds like you are pro-choice, and I hope you are not pro-choice in other areas of life. Okay,
I am pro the vaccine choice, or however you want to phrase it. It's your body, and you can I'm going to use your party's argument, right? My body, my choice.
I'm saying,
how does that apply to the termination of a bunch of cells, air quotes, inside of you? How is that any different?
I am consistently pro-life. I am consistently pro-life.
Well, I didn't say it was your. I just said it's Team Blue. That's a Team Blue talking.
Pro-life and not killing people with the pandemic.
First and second, one out.
And of course, as soon as I say that, the comments start coming in. It's to protect the people around you, and then somebody, of course, I'm not going to put it on the screen. I'm not going to give this person any credit, but don't tell me it's like you do it so you don't pee on other people argument. It's so stupid. That's so stupid.
I don't know what that is, but I would love to see that.
No, it's the stupid argument. I'm not going to put it on the screen. I'm not going to flash on the screen because it drives me insane. But this guy or gal or whatever this handle is, I'm not going to say it because I don't want to give him any credit. So you can comment all you want. I'm not going to put it on screen. He's going berserk now. But this idea that, you wear pants so that if you pee in the wind, you pee on yourself and everyone else doesn't get wet. Well, it's just a stupid argument, right? It's a stupid argument.
I'm trying to find the comment. I don't see it. Okay, guys, just hit me up.
Okay, but I'm just saying it's a dumb perspective. It's first of all, it has nothing to do with the vaccine. That's a mask. That's a pro-mask person. That's a pro-mask idiot. And secondly, and I will say this: imagine that there's a 99% chance that you won't take a dump on yourself, but you have to walk around with a diaper. Okay, that's what you're basically saying. Stupid guy on the internet. I can't deal with this insanity. I can't.
I don't know what all the peeing and pooping is about, but I am 100% pro protecting life in all circumstances. And I agree with you, Joe. We should protect life, whether it's cells inside a woman's body or people on the outside who are at risk of getting sick and dying. I agree.
Just to bring this back to sports for a second here, everybody killed Kirk Cousins because he went on his, he was basically billed as a conspiracy theorist because he didn't want to get the vaccine, right? And everybody trashed Kirk Cousins. Cam Newton didn't get the vaccine either. He's not employed, and some people speculated that he's not employed because he didn't want to get the vaccine. Lamar Jackson is not vaccinated. Anybody going up and barking up that tree? Hey, Lamar, you got to get vaccinated. Why is no one going to point the finger at Lamar? Why is everybody pointing at Kirk? Why is everybody up like Cole Beasley in Cole Beasley's business? Cole, you're being reckless. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. Like, clearly there's something here, and I'm not going to call it out explicitly, but why would Kirk and Cole get targeted as being X, Y, and Z, and they're so selfish and not getting the vaccine? The majority of unvaccinated players right now in the NFL are not white players.
What does race have to do with anything?
Unfortunately, it has a lot to do with it.
We're covering all topics tonight. Apparently.
Unfortunately, it has a lot. Stevie, unfortunately, it has a lot to do with it because the media doesn't cover. My whole point is Lamar and Kirk are both quarterbacks in the NFL, and that's where the conversation should stop. If you're gonna pummel one for being not pro the vaccine, then pummel the other one equally. One everybody talks about and demonizes. The other one nobody cares.
As a counterpoint, the NBA guys have been getting pummeled, right? They're
Bradley Beal shouldn't get pummeled because he doesn't want to get a vaccine. Like the league can make a decision for itself, right? They're an employer. My employer, all of our employers can make decisions to say you will get vaccinated or you won't work here anymore. They're allowed to do that. The NBA is allowed to do that as well. The players should also be allowed to say, no, I don't want to, right? And then just like the problem now is Beal wants to play and he's under contract to play and the team has to pay him. And that's to me where it gets super interesting. And I don't know how we ended up here, but if your team blue and you really want to push like a vaccine mandate, they're doing it the wrong way by targeting
that's a
employers.
Different argument. It's a different argument.
But if that's the goal to get everybody vaccinated, there's an easier way to do it.
Brad Beal's situation, though, is different than Kyrie and Wiggins, right? Because there were local mandates that said that to be employed, to be in a stadium, you had to. The NBA didn't say you have to get the vaccine. The NBA said if you don't have the vaccine, you're going to have to go through a testing protocol that's really massive and so on, and you could lose pay, right? But that's
reasonable.
Games,
but that's reasonable.
Right, but that's reasonable. That's what I'm saying. So at that point, you have as an adult male, you have a choice. You have a choice to say, I will accept those repercussions and not get the vaccine, right? You should be allowed that choice to say that I'm not. But what happens in New York and so Kyrie isn't allowed to even be with the team. He isn't allowed to play.
Local law prevents him from stepping inside of whatever the Brooklyn arena's called.
Right.
And he whenever they play the Knicks, it's the same thing. Like it's different for Brad. Brad can opt to not be vaccinated and get tested before every game, basically everywhere. Like that's. Again, if you're an employer, you can do that. It's your facility, and you can do whatever you want. And I will support that. But if a player doesn't want to do it, like this is where it gets really hairy. The team can't void their contract. And frankly, if they do, right, there's a disadvantage here, right? If your franchise is in one of the southern states that tends to be more conservative or more red, the law is different there, right? It's the same. It's the same as the tax argument, right? Why are you gonna go play in California when you get taxed at 50% when you can go play in Florida and pay 0%? Right? Like it all starts to factor in. So, again, I don't know how we ended up here, but the NBA's got a mess on its hands. The NFL at least figured out a way to make it not the story consistently, but the NBA is a different league and it targets a different demo than what the NFL does. And it's they play 82 times, right? Kirk plays 17 times, one bye week, 16 times, right? Brad is under contract to put shots up 82 times all over the country. That's a big deal. And he's also making a ton of money to do it. So, like, the leagues have to figure this out. But again, I won't kill anybody, regardless of who they are, or what team they play for, forget about athletes. If somebody's adamant about not getting a vaccine, and it's more than just a regurgitated soundbite from someone else, okay, like, I'm not gonna, like, it's fine. You make the decision for yourself. And just know that whenever you go to place X or Y or Z, you're going to have to submit to whatever the rules of that place are. But for me, Steve, and the reason you got me all excited now is, and this guy won't stop commenting on the side. The reason for me that, you got me all worked up is the argument should go both ways. And frankly, if you're the media and you're going to trash Kirk, you got to trash Lamar. I prefer you just leave them both alone. But if you're going to trash one, you got to trash the other.
I will trash both of them, and I'll trash Kirk more for being a crappy quarterback.
But yeah, Minnesota's got problems at 1-3, by the way. But that's a whole
Are we ever going to get to the Washington football defense? Can I just get a little props for that?
No,
that's all I want. You guys shut me out of the post game stuff because I'm bringing the heat. I know you don't want to sit there for 20 minutes.
I made your points
how right
for
I
you.
was.
I know what your points are, and I made them for you.
Okay, I appreciate
it. The defense is not.
I'm sure I was given credit. I'm sure all of my.
I gave you credit. I gave you a lot of credit. I even got your team. We didn't do. You want to do top 5, low 5 real quick? I bet the Browns are still in your top 5.
I'll tell you who's not in my top 5 in anything is Chase Young.
I mean, you soured on Chase Young really quick, Stevie.
Yeah, that didn't take long.
Call it like I see it, okay? Guy is lost right now, and he's playing selfish ball. I don't know if you saw a breakdown on ESPN. They were breaking down Chase. He's going past the quarterback every time. He's looking for his sacks. He's trying to get around the quarterback. He's not playing team ball anymore, and he's given up passing lanes. He did it in Buffalo 100 times with Josh Allen, And he did it last week with Matt Ryan. Him and Montez Sweat are both playing selfish ball. They got to learn to.
Well, Sweat's got a couple sacks. Chase, last box score I looked at on the season, he has 0 sacks, 0 pressures, 3 hurries.
And probably 4 roughing the passers.
Well, that was such a terrible call.
Well, he's had more. I'm saying it's not just that one that was.
Yeah, I mean that one was especially just a terrible call. But.
Well, it was a bad play by him.
Well, yeah, exactly. If he makes a tackle, he's paid to tackle people. If he makes a tackle instead of trying to shove the guy, then we're not having this conversation.
Well, the conversation that we're having, and I think we had offline, is that play epitomized where he's at right now. He is lost. He is confused. He is questioning.
I think he's buying into his own hype.
Right? Oh, you think he's on every Gatorade commercial?
You see this like back in the day, we all used to watch wrestling, right? You'd see this occasionally where a wrestler would start to like buy into their own gimmick, right? And like start to believe that, you're really the Undertaker, you're really the Ultimate Warrior. I feel like Chase got a little bit of that right now. Like he's buying into that gimmick a little bit too much, that he's unguardable, he's unstoppable, and someone's got to reground him. I mean, the defense played better. It's not good. But Ioannidis coming back helped, and Settle played well, and Jonathan Allen played.
Oh my God, Joe! You're not now. Look who's on Team Blue giving.
I'm just saying he played better. I didn't say it was good. I'm just saying they played better.
Thanks for showing up, guys.
Jeez, Joe! Look at who they played. You act like they played the 99 Rams. My God, they played the Falcons and the Giants. Jeez.
Wait. But you can't find, just like you can't find anything positive to say or negative to say about Rizzo. You're not going to say anything positive about football team.
No, I'll say so. Their offense, Heineke. Are you kidding me? Hey, I call it like I see it. I'm not a homer with an apostrophe s like Fede likes to say. Okay,
Make sure you text him after the show and let him know.
Thanks for listening, Fede. We appreciate you.
All right, boys. Look, let's put a bow on this one so we can enjoy the end of this Yankees Red Sox game. They're currently, I think they're breaking for about to start the 7th here.
Yep.
Let's talk here. Okay, so you both got the Dodgers in the World Series. Stevie, it sounds like you got the White Sox, and Matt, you're trending towards
the Rays.
Do you see if there was one team that you think could upset everything? Matt, it sounds like you're pretty big on the Giants, even though there's not really an upset when you win a zillion games.
My team that I think could upset everything, Houston Astros, because they've done it before, and I feel like they're primed. They still have a chip on their shoulder, and they want to prove that it wasn't a fluke when they were banging on trash cans and stealing signs. But hey, we'll let them to prove it on the field. I think the Astros can throw everything for a loop and surprise people.
Stevie, how about you?
It's the team that's currently down by 3 runs in the wild card.
You think there's magic there? You think
Yankees
there's something there?
Well, if they come back from this, and I think they have the firepower and they have the pitching.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. Boys, thank you for making time. Matt, welcome back to the show. It's nice to have you. I think we're going to be doing at least one baseball show a week moving forward. So for those that are watching, thank you everybody that checked out the show live. For those that are going to find it later on, you can find it with all the other shows on pretty much every podcasting platform that there is, from Apple to Google, Spotify, and everything in between. You can also check out the show and watch these videos if you really want to see us for some reason. You can watch live on Facebook. You can watch live on Twitter. You can watch live on YouTube. All the show archives are there. I think we're closing in on 230 shows, or we're just about there. We appreciate the support. We appreciate the comments. Keep them coming. We will do our best to integrate them into the show when possible. But for now, I want to say good night. Thank you for checking us out. Thank you for hanging with us. Happy playoffs to everyone involved. Nationals, we'll see you next season. Stevie and Matt, thank you both very, very much. My name is Joe. This is Defeating the Curse. And for now, we are out.